Thursday and you choose to open the session. So you can choose.
Let me wait for the record. There we go.
There we go. Okay.
I choose to open this today's session because it's a Tuesday. And I choose to welcome you because we are UNISA Science Engagement Center. And I choose to say that today our session is all about competition, research skills. And I choose to hand over to Casper Johannes for the house rules. And I choose Casper Johannes to also hand over to Dr. Hoos for the overall presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tamelo. Thank you, thank you. And I only have to choose, I'll say maybe, let's see, we only have to use a few of the house rules for today. I see we are very small, so I think the only rules that we're going to ask is everybody to please mute your cameras to save data and bandwidth. And I think anytime you have a question, please raise your hand or even use the chat area. And I think that's all from my side, Dr. Gous.
Awesome. Okay. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for that introduction. Yeah, so we are definitely talking about competitions, and we're going to talk about research skills. And so if it is one of the things that we've noticed, or one of the lessons that we've learned, is there seems to be a disconnect in terms of developing learners' research skills. But we also realize at the same time that we as coaches really need to guide the learners. And it's again the skills development where you've got to start something and then you will see in the end the results, which is like, that's amazing. All right. So in my putting this presentation together, it's kind of like, I don't know where to start because I need to tell you so much. And so I hope the golden thread passes through the presentation. Let me do the presentation, and then if there are any, if I've missed anything, please do ask the questions in the interim. So what we're discussing now is the research skills that go with a competition. All right. So different competitions have different requirements. The first Lego League competition has both the research component and the robot component. And there's a link between the two. And hopefully by the end of the session, you'll understand what the link is. All right. So let me share my presentation. Okay, here we go. All good?
And I think I will confirm so.
You think you will confirm? Okay, let me just
yes, I can confirm.
I'm just going to put my camera off. There we go. Okay, now you can confirm. All right.
Yes, I can.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So here we go. And then Tamela said I must always do this hide thing here. There we go. All right. So we're going to talk about robotics competitions, but we're focusing on research. The research is linked to the robot, and hopefully you'll understand the link. All right. So this is part 2 of our discussions. We started yesterday with just an overview of the competition and in terms of research, and then today this is part 2, and it's hopefully you'll understand what the link is between the robot missions and then the project. All right. As always, we've got some general navigation information, and we've got MOOC queries and general queries all go to the same email, and most of those recordings will be available on the MOOC portal. Okay. And as always, we really want to ensure that we have competent and confident teams of learners. And so to that end, we are equipping our robotics coaches to be competent and confident. And we really encourage you to ask as many questions as possible. All right. So again here, so we've done the overview yesterday, and now we're going to get the getting started part. And if I skip over something maybe that you need me to go back on, I'll gladly do that at the end of the session. All right. And then tomorrow we'll kind of discuss how we pull this all together. And then on Thursdays, how do the teams then present their research, and what are the rubrics that are used for the evaluation thereof? Okay. So the theme this year is superpowered. Okay. So the theme is superpowered, and all the first Lego League competitions, whether you're doing Discover, whether you're doing Explore, whether you're doing Challenge, they are all on the same theme. So it's all about the superpowered, and it's obviously there must be something about energy, something about power. So you'll see that all the mission models and everything is about superpowers. All right. So within this theme, you have a robotics mat with a whole lot of missions. Well, the robot must be programmed and built to do the missions, okay? And the robot must score the points. That's in the robot rounds, okay? But the team must do research that's related to the theme. And I'll show you now in your study guides, in your guides, how it is linked. All right. The idea is that the missions on the robotics table must be used as think triggers or sparks or whatever you want to call it, but it must be able to trigger thinking in the learners' minds. Okay. Remember, we are trying to equip also the learners with a vocabulary around superpowered. So please, it's really important that the teams also know the names of the missions and know the correct names of the mission. So it's a hydroelectric or hydro scheme, and it's I see Casper had, just before we started, he was showing you the game book, and so we'll go through those just now, and I'll show you where the names of every single mission is clearly detailed. All right, so the theme for First Lego League is superpowered. We are concentrating on the challenge. So that is for the grades 4 up to grade 10 and above. Okay, so why do we do this? So maybe for those who have not been as part of the First Lego League competitions before, there's always a real world issue. Okay, so in previous years, we've had space, we've had food scarcity, we've had biomechanical engineering, we've had animals, we've had old people or senior citizens, not old people, senior citizens. We have had, so these are all real world issues. Just before COVID, we had My City, or City Shaper, of how do we shape our cities of the future. And my goodness, COVID just changed that whole conversation. And the learners had the vocabulary then to be able to talk about the real world issue. Okay. This is not learners to create a little story of fiction, okay, and cook up a story about pie in the sky. It's not. It's real. It's issues that we face in this world, and we need our learners to start knowing about the issues, and they need to be able to talk to our current experts. All right. So if, for example, last year was it was about Cargo Connect. Last year was Cargo, or last theme was about Cargo Connect. You need to talk about logistics managers. You need to talk to people who are involved in cargo transport. You need to be talking to truck drivers. You need to be talking to the experts who are on the ground knowing about this. All right. So if you want to talk about the import and export of say fruit and vegetables, you would need to go to the market. Now this year we are talking about energy. We talk about superpower. So who, and we're going to open this thing now, who are the experts we need to talk to? All right. Whether you are talking to the people who work at the power station, whether you are talking to a company that installs solar panels, whether you are talking to the people who make the wind turbines, there needs to be an expert, and the learners need to talk to the experts. They need to have questions, they need to know what to ask, and they need to be able to respond to answers that the experts that provide. Okay. The other thing is that the learners actually need to read about the real world issues. They cannot come to a competition and say, well, we think there might be an issue. No. You need to be able to say, I read about this in the newspaper of the 4th of January, and I read about it again on the 9th of September. Last year, there was an article, and it was reinstated again at the end of August. These are real world issues. They need to be talk about real world issues, and they need to be able to ask the questions about real world issues. Okay, but here's the kind of the really cool spin-off of this is that if learners grapple with these real world questions, they become aware of the careers of the future. Remember, they are going to be our workforce. They are going to have to start thinking about where do they want to go. All right, so learners maybe who are doing My City, but maybe not aware of all the opportunities that are available for city planning. Now they are graduating, now they are leaving school, they're thinking, but 3 years ago when we did the first Lego League, that was a topic that I was really interested in. So maybe your learners today are going, maybe this is a future topic, and then maybe 5 years down the line, that is where they choose their careers, okay, as a totally new field. Remember, the careers they're going to have maybe don't even exist, but now they can start identifying what these careers should be and ought to be. Okay, so that's the why. All right, so how do we do it? We need to link their thinking. So there's a linking of thinking between the robotics triggers, thinking triggers. If you are exposing them, they're asking the experts, so they have exposure. Remember, they're coming to competitions and they're going to talk to other teams. And those teams will also share their ideas and they will share their questions. All right. Now, here's the tough thing. Their research is not just a laptop and a Google and a teacher. That is not research. And if a team comes to the judging and says, well, we used our laptop, yes, but what did you research? Did you do TED Talks? If so, which TED Talk did you listen to? If you watched a YouTube video, which YouTube videos did you watch? And why did you watch them? You can't just say Google and laptop and teacher. That is not research, okay? Then it kind of thinks, well, what did they actually do? And then once the learners have now done all their research, and I'm going to come back to collecting all this now, there needs to be some data. They need to be able to send out a survey, collect the data, and then reflect on the data. So they have a great idea. They present the idea to some experts. They say, can you answer the survey? The experts will answer the survey. They have some data. They present some graphs and say the experts agreed with us on this and this, or maybe not on that. It's not pie in the sky. You've got to keep it real. It maybe is a little bit way out, but you as the coach will then kind of hone it in. It needs to be the team's research, and the theme is superpowered. Okay, so now just on that, you cannot think, how do we supply power to the whole of South Africa? That's not going to happen, all right? But maybe, and I actually mentioned it just in the previous session, maybe I need, because I only drink coffee during the day, I need a solar-powered kettle, okay? And then the team will develop a prototype for me. They will demonstrate it. They will show a couple of experts, maybe coffee drinkers who need who need energy to heat up the water. You've got to keep it real, and so it might not be for everybody, but it might address a single problem. All right. Okay, so now you've got your team of learners, maximum 10 learners. Each team member will have a role. Okay, so some will be builders, some will be programs, some will be researchers, some will do the logistics and the strategy, but every team member must be involved in the research, and every team member must be involved in the building. It is not okay to give the research to 2 learners and say, you go and do the research. No, every single member needs to be involved in the research. They may be responsible for pulling it all together, but every single team member needs to participate and contribute to research. Every team member needs to participate in the building, and every team member needs to participate in the programming. Okay. And you'll see that maybe different learners have different ways of solving problems. It's the collective, it's the team contribution. Okay, so if you have a team coming to a competition, whether it's a regional national competition or whether it's a celebration event, one robotics team, which is either Spike Prime or EV3, and 1 laptop. Okay, that's your team. 1 team registration, maybe for a regional. But if you register a team for a regional, you can still share the superpowered challenge set. So lots of teams can all share the challenge set, but you need to register a team. All right. So in terms of preparation, every team must build and program their robot. They must have a robot strategy to score points in 150 seconds. They need to do their own research project, and they need to do the research, and they need to have a team identity, and most importantly, they need to have some fun. All right, so a team, you as a coach, 1 team, 1 coach. If you are a group of coaches in a school, give each team their allocated mentor. Okay, maybe you have 1 coach and lots of mentors, so that each team has their own adult mentor. Okay, so if you look in the first Lego League Challenge overview document, and I'll show you where to find all these documents, there are 4 parts to this. Okay, so the core values is the whole thing about having a team identity. Robot design is how you design it. You've got your mission strategy, you've got to design your robot and your programs, and you've got to create the robot, and you've got to get the coding, and you've got to test it, and you've got to debug it. So that's all part of robot design. And that robot design will be presented in your technical session. Then you have the robot game, where you go onto the stage, and you've got your mission models, and you've got your field set up, and then your robot runs and scores as many points as it can in 2.5 minutes, which is only 150 seconds. All right. And last but not least is this innovation project. Okay. And your team will prepare a live engaging presentation. It's 5 minutes. Right? And you need to, in that presentation, and we'll talk about that on Thursday, how you pull it all together. But you need to start somewhere. So let's take a step back from where you present your solution. Let's take a step back and say, okay, so how do we start this project? Okay. So when you start at the beginning of a season, and this is superpowered season, you've got kind of two pathways. On the one hand, you've got the innovation project, and you've got to put it all together, and you've got to, okay, and then you've got to bring it all together. On the other hand, you've got the robot, you've got to design the robot, you've got to create the robot solution, and then it all comes together. But at all phases of your superpower journey of the team, there's problem solving. Okay. In your books, you'll see that there's usually, this is usually about maximum 2 hours in a week. You might need a little bit more time closer to the competition, but there needs to be a team talk at the beginning to say, what are we doing? Write it down, keep a little journal, keep a team journal to say, what are we doing? Then we do some robot rounds and some robot planning. And then there needs to be some discussion about the project. And I'll show you what this white energy, blue energy, yellow energy, orange energy is about. And at the end, when the team has finished their session, they need to pack up, they need to save their programs, but they need to be able to share and reflect on what they've learned. And that you can take notes of as well. All right. So that is how your session goes. So and it's labeled session 1, session 2, session 3, session 4, session 5. There are 12 sessions that you need to complete to ensure that your team is ready for a competition. Some teams need a little bit more time on session 1, then we repeat session 1 and we repeat session 2 to make a little tick a little longer, but that's okay. It's okay as long as we have a quality encounter. All right. So this is the mat. I see it's a bit pixelated, but anyway, so this is our robot mat, and there's our robot mat, and you'll see there's a whole lot of little challenge missions on the mat. So your team meeting guide, I'll show you now, has got 12 sessions. Normally it's about 4 weeks or 4 sessions for the initial research, 4 sessions for kind of pulling it, finding your solution and sharing it. And the last 4 weeks or last 4 sessions is about evaluating it and putting it all together in terms of a presentation. So that is kind of your guideline. You give a total of 12 sessions, and usually it's 1 session a week. If you're lucky, you can have 2 sessions a week, which would be great. But I think most teams are running on 1 session a week. You can add to that. All right. So do the initial kind of scouting for ideas, discussions, collaborative thinking. In the middle 4 sessions, you start defining solutions and pulling it all together. And the last one is then you present your presentation. All right. So at the back of the book, this is what you've got. It says your energy is an important part of our lives. Remember, this is a superpowered theme. Okay. And the heroes know the choices we make impact our world. Great. So let's start with our community. Where do they need our help? And how do we get our energy? Well, for those of you who don't know, load shedding starts again soon. So the challenge is to improve the energy journey in our community. How do we distribute and store our energy? And then how do we consume our energy? So then they think, okay, so let's identify a problem and then design a solution, but we'll need more heroes. Ta-da! And this is where you get your experts as your heroes, and you start the conversation, and you see how can we change the world. We are not changing it, everything in a kaboom. We are changing it bit by bit, okay? Rather have an amazing something that works than a pie in the sky, okay? You want to actually solve a problem. All right. So in your books, there is, in your team meeting guides, it's all laid out. It's all got, it says they're from machines that move us to electronics that connect us. the ways we power our cities and towns is the energy is essential for our lives. How have you thought about what energy comes from, how it is generated, how it gets to you, and how you, and so there's all these resources, and in your team meeting guides, there's all these QR codes that are, it's exactly the steps. You identify the specific problem, then you research the problem and existing solutions and why they need to be improved. Then you design and create a solution that can improve your energy journey. And then we share the ideas and we get some feedback, and then we communicate it, and that will be at the competition. All right. So for those who maybe are not aware of it, it's really got to be real. And so there's actually an innovation project. They're looking for global innovators, and there is an award. All right. And so the top, every country selects their top 5 projects, and we submit that to the Global Innovation Project Award. It's real. We have already had one team that has got a patent out on it, and it got funding to actually implement the project further. It's not just a regurgitation of something. You've got to actually engage with it. Your learners need to sit down and engage with it. And here are all the steps. You take the problem, the journey, you'd say, what is the problem? You create a solution, or how do you improve an existing solution? Your teams need to go and find members, need to go out and find, so what are the existing solutions? Okay. And then how can we improve it? All right. Okay. So if you look, also there's some real world connections. Kada, you go to the QR codes, this is very interactive stuff, but I'll show you now what the book looks like. So they have defined 4 energy journeys. And you will, as your team, will need to say, on which journey is our research? Is it white energy? So that is the renewable stuff. Is it on blue energy? That's all the hydro energy. The yellow energy is about non-renewable energy and how can we change that? And then the orange is about issues that face our energy. So like smart grids and technologies that can improve our energy. All right, so it's all described. So if you look here in session 1, there's the videos. You can watch the videos. There's an introduction, and you as a coach this is your team meeting guide. You will read all this through here, and then it says the white energy journey. So there's the white energy journey. It asks you what questions you can ask your learners. It asks you, and it tells you what. So if you go back here, so if you do white energy, then you should have built this. This is the wind turbine, and this is a storage device, and this is how you consume it. So that's generation, that's storage, and that's using it to watch the television. Okay, that's how we use white energy. That is a journey. And I would like for every team, when they come to a competition, they must say, well, our research is in the white energy journey, or the blue energy journey, or the yellow energy journey, or the orange energy journey. I do not want teams of learners coming to judging sessions and you ask them the question, where is your energy journey? And they don't have a clue what I'm talking about. That is not okay. All right. It needs to be very clear. All right. So here's your white energy journey. There are the questions. There are the questions they can ask. All right. So that is session 1 and session 1. Okay. The teams does need to know what their energy journey is. What are they looking at? So here you can see renewable energy comes from natural sources that will never run out. Amazing new technologies that are developed to capture and store energy from these types of energy sources. So you've got to think about, I do not want an essay telling me what a renewable energy source is. That is your thinking about. That is not the problem. Okay. They need to be identify the problem in one sentence. All right. So again, yellow energy is when energy and where it is needed in an affordable, in a massive challenge. We have become reliant on non-renewable energy because they are convenient and often cost less. All right. So those are your things to consider. Work through the questions, and then maybe something triggers how we're going to, what our energy journey is. Okay, there is orange. Orange is about smart grids and alter demand for electricity, and it can be stored. How could it definitely be stored differently? How do rechargeable batteries maybe work? Maybe there's something else they can do. So each energy journey has actually got some think triggers. You as the coach need to work through it with your learners. All right. And if they can't just wording, well, you as the coach get some pictures, show them if they're a little bit younger, show them some pictures, trigger it, build the models, trigger their thinking. All right. All right. So your resources, you've got the team meeting guide, which is 12 sessions detailed and described. And so you've got that as the coach. Your learners have got the engineering notebook, which is 12 sessions. I can guarantee you that you want to add extra pages. That must come with you to the competition. That shows the judges that you have worked through the 12 sessions and that you know what the challenge is about, that you have all the energy data at your fingertips, that you know what they're talking about. Okay. There's also a game rule book, and that is really, really, really important that the teams know what the game rule book is about. And then we've got some multimedia resource guide. I'm going to show you that as well just now. But there is a plethora of information, both robotic programming and building, but also specifically to project. And a lot of teams are sharing their ideas of how to present their research in a fun way so that the judges actually understand what the problem is. I will also share on Thursday, I have a 16 template, 16 slide template. Not to force the learners to create a PowerPoint presentation, but to focus their thinking so that they understand what is the problem, what is their solution, what are the existing solutions, who are the experts they have spoken to, but to kind of hone in and say, this is how we've done our research. Okay. Yes, there are lots of other resources that are available, and I encourage you and your learners to watch as many resources as possible. All right. There are teams that have been in this for a longer time, and they are really keen to share their innovation project ideas. Watch, share, watch, listen, see what you can use. So sometimes it's applicable. Sometimes it's a bit more far-fetched, but it's all really good ideas. Okay. All right. So here are the 5 steps. If you understand the problem, you must say, which energy journey are you going to be embarking on? All right. What are the existing solutions? Right. You need to be, this is the 4 parts to it. And what are the new solutions? What is your innovation the team is bringing? Are they coming with a brand new idea? Or are they using innovation to address an existing solution and change an existing solution? There must be data. There must be where did you share it? You cannot just share it with your classmates. All right. You must share it either. You can ask the Rotary Club. You can ask all the teachers at the school. Your learners in your team need an opportunity to share it with adults. Okay. Let them share it, as I said, with the Rotary Club. Make an appointment for them, let them go and share it. Or if you have a company that installs solar panels, let them go and share that with the company in their boardroom meeting. But what you want is that they can come to a judging session, and in 5 minutes, they have a clear idea. What is their research? What is their solution? Where is their innovation? They've got 5 minutes. A model helps. And a model helps not only for them to know what to say. Remember, they can take cards with, they can take crib cards, but you don't want a team just reading off, no. They need to be able to engage. So if you give them a model in their hand, they can describe the model, all right? It doesn't have to be a life-size model. It can be a smaller model. It can be a reduced-size model of cardboard or a poster or a cutout or a whatever. But they must have a clear idea of what their research is about. Okay. And again, we come back to the thing is, why bother? Remember, we are developing research skills. We are developing 21st century skills. Okay. It's a real world problem that needs deliberation, attention, and a solution. Okay. And there's a reason why it has a theme. All right. For superpowered, the theme is superpowered. And what do you need to do? You need to choose one of the energy journeys and find a problem and a solution within one of those energy journeys. Okay. You do need to talk to experts. All right. You're developing competence and confidence of your learners. They need to talk to, and don't, if they go and talk to the experts, please, as a coach, do not take over the conversation. Let them ask the questions. Okay. All right. I'll share with you on Thursday how to do a presentation which is clear and complete and involves teamwork. Remember, this is not just a solo effort of one team member to present the teamwork. And I will also present you the 16-slide poster that I use in all my teams to ensure that they actually address all the issues. All right. So please understand the research project. Start with some initial research, discuss some solutions. If your teams need kind of more thinking, give them homework. Tell them, go and find a video on YouTube about the following. Go and find a YouTube video about hydro. Go and find something about solar panels. Let them go and find some ideas. And don't choose the first and only idea that comes to the class. And don't choose the idea, don't you as the coach choose the idea that you think is the best idea. Let the team decide democratically what they think is their best solution and best idea. All right. So this is the research part of it. The most difficult part is to start getting the process going. And I would highly recommend that you do all 4 energy journeys, and that you take notes and you understand it. Even if you take lots of pictures and lots of posters and draw lots of pictures, then after 4 sessions, you can say, okay, so where are we going to focus our research efforts on? Okay. It's not to say that one is better than the other. Your team must decide which of the 4 journeys needs their attention, and where from all the material that they've seen and all the interaction they've had and all the conversations they had, where do they see is a problem in the community that they want to address? Okay. For me, I want a solar paneled coffee machine, but that's my personal opinion. Okay. All right. So let me just stop my sharing and let's open for some questions. If you are lost, if you need some more explanation, I'm happy to go for it. All right. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Okay. Nobody's good. Okay. So, so maybe whilst you're just thinking about it, it's also good for the teams to talk to other teams to understand where they saw their research, what were they researching. There's not only one answer. Okay, I'll just give you an example. When it was Nature's Fury, it was about natural disasters. The natural disasters were volcanoes and tsunamis and everything. For the team that I had at the time, their natural disaster was the perpetual flooding of homes built below the flood line. And so every year the same houses flood again, and every year it's the same. And so they developed a solution to get the houses out of the water if the water comes down. So that was a real, but we needed to go. We actually went to Kliptown, and we went down to the houses in the riverbank, and they spoke to the people living there in Kliptown. And so they had a real idea. They had photographs they could show. This is for real. This is what's happening. You want the learners to actually engage in real research. Okay. I don't see any hands going up.
Hey, Dr. Gous, Angie
Yes.
says this, yeah, we have two things in the chat. Angie says it's lots of information.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Angie.
Yeah. But Dr. Gous?
Yes.
Yeah, what I'm now thinking of is just a way of one of the projects that would be interesting is if they used some sort of hydro-powered.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So if your team is living next to a side of a river and they see how the river flows, maybe they can use hydropower. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm thinking now the 2 places in the Vaal Triangle that would be actually nice.
Yes.
Is at the Vaal Dam. And right at the dam wall, the river is always flowing at a very high speed.
Yeah.
And also at the barrage in at the border of Van der Bijl and Sasol.
Go. Yep. And it might not provide energy all year round, but it certainly can address the energy at a certain time when the river does flow. Absolutely.
Oh no, that river flows. If that thing stops, then the whole Gauteng will be in big trouble.
Oh dear. Oh dear. You can see I don't live next to a river. Okay. Awesome. Let me just check here.
Yeah, we also have one.
There's a question.
Is from Odette.
Okay. Hi, Odette. Yes. You're asking about the new grant applications. So the superpowered grant applications are only going to be opened at the end of October, and we will then do the allocations in November and December, and that grant equipment will only be couriered for the start of 2023. So all the new grant holders will play the off-season superpowered between February and June of 2023. It hasn't arrived yet. Okay. And we're also not aware of exactly what we're receiving. So, yeah. So, well, as soon as we've got confirmation of what we are receiving, we will put it into a grant application document and distribute that. Yes. We are as keen as you are. Noted. Yes. All right. But those who have grants from 2021, so those that did Replay and Cargo Connect, those teams, that grant is finished. So those teams will then need to decide how they go forward. Yeah, they will need to register their own teams. They may loan the equipment for another year, but they will need to get their own challenge kits or challenge sets. Yep.
Okay. Dr. Host?
Yes.
So maybe I can show how I did research for the superpower.
Okay. Okay. You're welcome to share if there's no other questions here. I don't see anybody's hand up. Yep.
So what I did is when I was on YouTube, sometimes I see a video that is always interesting for me or that I would like to see again. So I would usually put it into a watch list. And then afterwards, if I see, oh, this is how I can use this, then I place it into a document like this. So for example, this season on how batteries work, how hydroelectric work. Do we need solar? Yeah. How do we need nuclear? What is nuclear energy? Okay, this one is basically if it, yeah, this one is not going to be a children won't be able to get this one correct. But this one especially, what is fusion reactor? So yeah, these are some of the links that I discovered while doing research for superpower.
Excellent. Excellent. So and I'm glad you showed this document as well, Casper. Your learners need, or your team needs to be able to explain what the problem is and what the solutions are and what they've watched, what thinking has triggered their problem solving. And so everybody, yeah, and so you will, maybe somebody is concerned with the energy at school, and so then maybe you will use that tangent. See, Casper was mostly nuclear energy, so that was his focus. But whatever focus you have, thanks Casper for sharing. There we go. So you've got nuclear energy, and
so I can say that here's the hydropower. This is for hydroelectricity. This is what are batteries, because the one problem we have at the moment, all our batteries that we have cannot store enough electricity to be used at a later stage at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's our problem at the moment. So that one explains a good what is a battery. This one, okay, yeah, this one was more for Tumelo on can we use the nuclear energy to stop climate change? And then these three, especially now, one is just to explain what it is, 3 reasons why it's good and why it's terrible. This one is a very, very far out idea of using satellites around the sun to beam energy straight to the Earth. Yeah, and this one is a fusion reactor. What it is explains that we can build a sun or a star on Earth that can create energy, and it only needs basically a glass of water to run it.
There we go.
Or the better way to say it is, one glass of water is the same energy as an entire barrel of oil.
Yep, there we go. So and Casper, it's also important. You know where your team is. You know where your team is. You know what your team, what would be their interest. And maybe you think it's not a good idea, but definitely give them the chance to kind of explore what is the energy crisis and how they're going to solve it. And don't leave it up to, oh, we just need to build more nuclear power stations. Well, that doesn't actually, that's pie in the sky. If they can come with a really, remember, I don't know how many of you were at the launch, but Tanya Kopp was a Fulbright with us a couple of years ago. So she has lived here in South Africa, and she's currently in Namibia. And she says, we as South Africans are so innovative. We are kind of ahead of everybody else in terms of, I think maybe it's because of the situation that we don't have power. So we are forced to create innovative solutions. Let the learners explore that. If they have, I don't know, there's a lot of solar energy. You don't have to have a huge big solar panel. For me, I don't know why we don't have solar powered traffic lights. All right. But if you look at your robotics missions, is there something that triggers you? So I don't know who's going to do this, but you can only watch television for the power that you have from your solar panel. Okay, so on a on a cloudy day you can't watch TV because you've got no solar energy. Oh, that's a way of
or you can only watch it for 10 minutes because that's only how much time you had in your battery.
There we go. Let them and so also absolutely let your team also do some calculations and say, my home, what is the energy consumption? What do I need energy for at what hours? Let them do that study. Okay, let them come to the competition and say, well, we noticed that we actually don't need energy from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the afternoon, because then we're all at school. Yay. And then what do you need the energy for? So do you only need the energy for the fridge and the geyser? So maybe how do we then address that? All right. And what does it cost? And how can we change it? What changes can we make to our energy consumption? Do we all really need Eskom power? Do we really need it? Can we think of little solutions that will reduce our dependency on Eskom? Okay, it's a really exciting topic. It really is, and it's real. It's definitely real. I know a couple of years ago we had Into Orbit, which was we were all going to the moon. That was a little bit way out, but it certainly got the learners thinking and kind of equipped with a different type of thinking to say, okay, so how else are we going to do this? Okay, but let's see what we can do with this topic. All right. Thanks for sharing that, Almri, for the Eskom project with a very nice document on the creative problem statement and solution. Yeah, that's all part of these skills that we have for solving problems. Okay. Cool. There we go. There's a link to the document.
Dr. Gous?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe I almost want to say there is one more link that I can suggest. Maybe at one stage teams look if they go to hydropower. It's maybe the Drakensberg, the Sterkfontein Dam, the power station that they have there.
Okay.
So one time we went down to, it's a power station. They use the dam. The water goes via gravity straight down 1 kilometer. No, wait, not 1 kilometer. 225 stories down into the mountain, and it goes down to, and then it turns it 4 turbines and goes straight to these 4 dams.
Okay.
That's during the day. It takes them about, I think they said 15 minutes before they can produce energy for entire province, whereas a coal power station can only do that within 14 hours if they had to start it from scratch.
There's a nice project for a team.
So yeah, that
a
is
nice project for a team.
So maybe a good thing will be if somebody can go and talk to the people that have tours there, but maybe if they can do via call, explain to the teams what is hydroelectricity and how do they generate it at their dam, because it was a very good one to see how they do it, because it's literally 4 generators, and the water the turbines, they spin so quickly they can fill up an Olympic swimming pool within 5 seconds.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
Right. So there we go. Awesome. Thank you, Casper. You've given us a lot of food for thought. So there's hydroelectricity, there's nuclear power. There definitely are options. All right. If you and maybe let's have a conversation in our next session. Where do you see what is your thinking of how do we solve the country's energy problems by addressing the community's energy problems? How is that doable? Okay. Lots of thinking, lots of sharing. Let me just check the chats. Okay, there we go. Thank you. That's from Elmarie. Awesome. Okay. All right. Anybody got any last thinking, last thoughts before we go into load shedding? All right. Okay, so think about it. Let's have a conversation tomorrow, and I really want from you, if you think about it, which energy journey would you like to be on? And they are. I actually want to show you. Maybe I'll just show you one more thing. On the superpowered resources. Okay, so the superpowered resources are.
I have them, Dr. Host, here open.
Have you got it open? Okay, okay. If you can open that, the multimedia connections.
The one with all the documents and everything, or not?
No, the one's called multimedia.
Okay, I only have here. Here's for the rule book and everything else.
Okay, no, this is multimedia. Let me just. Okay. Donkey, Casper. Let me just see whether I can share this one quickly. Oh my God. Okay, let me have a look here. Here we go. All right, can everybody see this one?
Yes, Dr. Host.
Awesome. Okay, so this is really an amazing collection of all the media you might need. Okay, so it gives you the resources, it gives you what is computational thinking, okay, and how to manage a team, and how to do really cool team building exercises and activities and inviting other teams then. Really good stuff here. Let me just hide this. You will obviously find your team will have their own preferred activities. Hey, that's us loved eating Oreos. So we ate Oreos and ice cream till the cows came home. Okay, here's your robotics resources. There's some how to build a robot. There are some more resources. Okay, so here's your innovation project on page 9. The general information, how to do research, some product design stuff, how to get feedback, how to create surveys. I think most kids or most team members know how to create a Google form. That's the easiest way to collect data, but you must make sure that your questions actually ask the right questions. Okay, there's some more general information. A lot of it is from America, but we also we can just replace it with a South African version of it. And then for every energy journey, there's a whole lot of resources. So there's white energy, there's blue energy, there's yellow energy, and then there's orange energy. The smart grid, the batteries, driving. Okay, so as long as your team can tell you where did they get this from. Okay, there's energy harvesting. That's a whole new topic. Wow. Okay, I'm going to try and get. We've got a project at UNISA. It's called Waste to Energy. I'm going to see whether I can get Celestine to come and talk to us on Thursday afternoon quickly. Just to kind of give you an insight of the real work that is really being done in terms of energy. All right. There's some event preparation. How do you prepare for a team? And but this is what we'll do on Thursday. What you need to keep in the back of your mind is that the team members, at least one of them, is going to work in the energy field, and you really want them to be aware of what the job opportunities are. There's a whole lot of stuff. Okay. There's definitely not a shortage of resources for this season. Absolutely not. All right. On that high note, I'm sorry I've overloaded you. I see information overload is the thing of the session. But hopefully tomorrow we will have more discussions. We will be able to kind of engage and talk about what is white energy and what are the different energy journeys that we can discuss and mentor our teams in. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your patience. I'm encouraged that there are not so many questions, but maybe the questions will come to you in your dreams tonight, and you can ask the questions then tomorrow. But I look forward to having another session with you. Thank you to the team. Tumelo, do you want to close the session?
Thank you so much to our online participants. Dr. Host, thank you for the lovely session. I hope everyone is ready to compete on our first local league, regionals, as well as nationals. There's a lot of input that you gave there. I hope people have taken it. And to those that will be watching the recording, I hope this recording was beneficial as well. Without wasting time, I would like to say happy Tuesday and thank you so much.
Happy Tuesday and stay strong in the load shedding. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.